Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to add the oregonite. Now, you don't want a thick layer because we're not going to use a normal cleanup crew you would use in a refugium. We don't want the bristleworms and the amphipods and the sand sifting stars. So you want a very shallow layer so you don't have a whole lot of anaerobic stuff that needs to be switched up. Normally in a refugium you would want a deep layer with all the different invertebrates and everything to clean up the sand. Next I'm going to place this is just a cutout I used on top of the aquarium, or for the top of the refugium, just to keep it, and you're going to pour very slowly, you're going to pour the water into the refugium. You want to make sure to do this really slowly so you don't stir up all the oregonite, because it'll cloud up the water and make it really, really unattractive, and it takes a while for it to all settle out. So we're just going to keep going, and we're going to go until the water level is about even with the main aquarium. Now that's all ready. Okay, next what we're going to do, we're going to take the filter here and we're going to cover it in floss. Since we're doing dwarf seahorses, we don't want them to get sucked up. It's pretty simple, just kind of go across it, make sure you cover all the intakes. Use some rubber bands or zip ties or whatever you'd like to use, and just cover the intakes really well so the seahorses don't get sucked up. And I'm just using rubber bands. You'll have to replace them eventually because they're going to get brittle. Install the pump in your tank. And just bring the hose over. You can adjust the flow wherever direction you want. You just don't want it flowing right on the gravel. Next, you're going to take your dead rock on your caulerpa. This is just what I'm using to replace caulerpa. It's a plastic plant. What you're going to want to do, you're going to want to rubber band it, but you want to make sure that it's pretty loose. You don't want it to be constricting. You don't want it to constrict the caulerpa and make it break off. You're just going to place it in there really gently. Now this is the tricky part. What you want to do is you want to fill your line here. I'm going to use the main tank. You want to get all the air out. Cover it real good. And flip it around. It's going to create your siphon. On the other side of the intake, you're going to want to put the mesh net. I should have done this before I flipped it over, but it could be done afterwards. Always make sure your hands are clean with good warm water. Don't use any soap. Just make sure it's nice warm water. Clean them as good as you can. And you're just going to rubber band this on, and this keeps the seahorses from swimming up into the tube. I'm going to put the lid back on. Like I said, I kind of was hasty here, so this is not the best made lid. Put your light on. plug in your pump. Of course, make sure that you follow all safety and use a drip loop for your wires.